Imagine being told that getting older automatically means losing strength, energy, and confidence in your body. Most men quietly accept that message after 60 or 70, but inside urology clinics, doctors see something very different. They see men in their 70s with better function than men in their 40s, and the difference isn't luck, genetics, or medication. It often comes down to one simple daily food choice that most people completely overlooked. In the next few minutes, you're going to understand how blood flow, hormones, and nutrition quietly decide your performance long before age ever does. Let's start by clearing up the biggest lie men have been told. Age does not suddenly shut down male function. What actually declines is circulation. Your body doesn't lose the ability to respond. It loses the ability to deliver blood efficiently. And that process starts years earlier, driven by inflammation, sugar spikes, poor sleep, and nutrient deficiencies. Urologists know this because when they examine men struggling with performance, the same patterns appear again and again: stiff blood vessels, low nitric oxide, and damaged lining inside the arteries. Here's the key point most people never hear. The blood vessels involved in male function are some of the smallest in the entire body. That makes them the first place where damage shows up. Long before heart symptoms appear, these vessels start losing flexibility. That's why urologists often say performance issues are not a local problem. They are an early warning sign of whole-body vascular health. Now this is where food enters the picture. Inside your blood vessels is a thin protective layer called the endothelium. When it's healthy, it releases nitric oxide, a molecule that allows vessels to relax and widen. That widening is what allows strong, reliable blood flow. When the endothelium is damaged by processed foods, excess sugar, or chronic stress, nitric oxide production drops. Blood flow weakens, response slows, and confidence takes a hit. Urologists don't start by asking about age. They ask about diet. One food in particular keeps coming up in medical research because of how powerfully it supports nitric oxide, reduces inflammation, and improves circulation even in older adults. This food doesn't work like a stimulant. It doesn't force anything. Instead, it repairs the system that allows the body to respond naturally. What's fascinating is that populations who eat this food regularly maintain vascular health decades longer than average. Their arteries stay flexible, their blood pressure stays lower, and their endothelial function remains strong well into old age. This food is rich in natural nitrates, magnesium, and polyphenols, a combination that directly supports blood vessel health. When consumed consistently, studies show measurable improvements in circulation within weeks, not years. And unlike medications, it doesn't override the body, it restores it. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think adding one healthy food will cancel out a lifestyle full of damage. That's not how the body works. The food works best when it replaces something harmful, like refined carbohydrates, sugary snacks, or late-night processed meals that spike insulin and inflame arteries. Urologists often explain it this way. Every meal is either feeding inflammation or feeding circulation. There's no neutral choice. Men over 70 who maintain strong function almost always share a few habits. They eat foods that protect blood vessels. They walk regularly. They sleep consistently. And they avoid the blood sugar roller coaster that quietly destroys nitric oxide. In the next part, we'll break down exactly what this food is, how it works inside the body, step by step, and why timing and preparation matter more than quantity. ULL also learn why some men eat it but still see no benefit, and how to avoid that mistake. Now let's talk about the food itself, because this is where curiosity usually turns into confusion. Many people expect something exotic or expensive. In reality, urologists keep pointing to a food that has been studied for decades, appears in heart health research, and is strongly linked to blood flow improvement in older adults. That food is beetroot. At first, that surprises people. Beetroot doesn't sound dramatic. It doesn't come with bold marketing or quick promises. But inside the body, it triggers a chain reaction that directly supports the exact systems that weaken with age. Here's what happens when beetroot enters the body. Beetroot is rich in natural nitrates. These nitrates are converted by bacteria in the mouth and gut into nitrites and then into nitric oxide. This is the same nitric oxide doctors talk about when they explain vascular health. Nitric oxide tells blood vessels to relax. Relaxed vessels allow more blood to move freely with less pressure and resistance. As men age, nitric oxide production naturally declines. This isn't because the body forgets how to make it. It's because inflammation, oxidative stress, and poor diet block the process. Beetroot helps reopen that pathway. Clinical studies show that even in adults over 65, regular beetroot intake improves endothelial function, the health of the vessel lining, within weeks. This improvement isn't limited to one area of the body. It affects circulation everywhere, including the smallest blood vessels that matter most for male performance. But urologists emphasize something important here. Beetroot does not create strength on its own. It removes barriers. It allows the body to respond the way it was designed to respond, assuming the signals are still intact. That's why this food works even after 70 for some men, and not for others. Men who see the strongest benefits usually do three things differently. First, they consume beetroot consistently, not randomly. Second, they avoid combining it with foods that destroy nitric oxide, like sugary drinks or highly processed meals. Third, they support the effect with basic movement, even light walking, which further stimulates nitric oxide release. There's also timing to consider. Urologists often suggest consuming beetroot earlier in the day or a few hours before physical activity. This is because nitric oxide levels rise gradually and remain elevated for several hours. Drinking beetroot juice right before bed, for example, may offer fewer benefits than using it as part of a daily routine. Another critical detail most people miss is the mouth. Antibacterial mouthwashes can block the conversion of nitrates into nitrites. That means heavy use of strong mouthwash can actually cancel out the benefits of nitrate-rich foods. This is something urologists and cardiologists have both warned about, yet very few people are aware of it. There's also a psychological element here that doctors observe often. When blood flow improves, confidence improves. Stress hormones decrease. That reduction in stress further improves circulation. The body enters a positive feedback loop instead of a downward spiral. Now, beetroot isn't magic, and urologists are clear about that. It doesn't replace medical care. It doesn't override chronic disease. But as a daily nutritional tool, it supports the underlying mechanism that most medications are trying to influence indirectly. In the final part, we'll talk about how to use this food safely, who should be cautious, what combinations improve its effect, and why urologists say lifestyle matters more than any single nutrient. We'll also address the biggest mistake men make when trying to fix performance with supplements alone. Now, let's talk about how to use this information wisely, because this is where many men either see real improvement or give up too early. One of the biggest reasons men don't feel results is that inflammation is still blocking the signal. Chronic inflammation stiffens blood vessels, damages the lining of arteries, and interferes with hormone signaling. The benefit gets muted. That's why doctors often recommend pairing nitrate-rich foods with simple anti-inflammatory habits. Walking after meals improves blood vessel sensitivity. Getting enough sleep lowers cortisol, which otherwise constricts blood flow. Even basic hydration matters, because thickened blood doesn't move efficiently through small vessels. There's also the question of hormones. Testosterone doesn't disappear overnight with age, but its effectiveness declines when blood flow is poor and insulin levels are unstable. Improved circulation allows hormones to reach tissues more efficiently. This is one reason why some men notice improvements without changing hormone levels at all. The delivery system improves. Urologists also caution against chasing extremes. Some men start drinking large amounts of beetroot juice, thinking more is better. That's not how the body works. Excessive intake can cause stomach discomfort and doesn't accelerate nitric oxide production. Consistency matters far more than quantity. Another critical point is expectations. This food does not force a response the way medications do. Instead, it restores the conditions that allow natural response to happen. That means improvements may feel subtle at first: better energy, warmer extremities, steadier blood pressure, before confidence and performance improve. It's also important to say this clearly. Men with underlying cardiovascular disease, kidney issues, or those on blood pressure medication should always consult a healthcare professional before making dietary changes. Urologists don't promote shortcuts, they promote awareness. What's powerful about this approach is that it reframes aging. Instead of seeing age as decline, it becomes a signal to support systems that quietly weaken over time. Blood vessels don't fail because of birthdays. They fail because of years of stress, inflammation, and neglect. When those factors are addressed, the body often responds better than expected, even after 70. That's why urologists keep repeating this message in clinics: protect circulation early, feed the vessels daily, and stop assuming age is the enemy. In many cases, it's simply a messenger. The real takeaway here isn't about one food. It's about understanding how small, consistent choices support the systems that matter most quietly, steadily, and naturally. As this comes together, the most important thing to remember is that the body is not broken by age. It's slowed by neglect. Urologists don't see aging as the problem. They see circulation, inflammation, and lifestyle quietly stacking up over decades. When those factors are addressed, the body often responds far better than people expect, even later in life. What makes this approach powerful is its simplicity. No extreme promises. No forcing the body, just restoring the conditions that allow it to work as designed. Supporting blood vessels, protecting nitric oxide, lowering inflammation, and respecting the systems that deliver oxygen and nutrients where they matter most. This is why one food, used correctly and consistently, can make such a noticeable difference. Not because it's magic, but because it supports the foundation. And when the foundation improves, everything built on top of it becomes stronger. Aging doesn't mean giving up function. It means being smarter about how you support your body. Small daily choices, repeated over time, often outperform aggressive shortcuts that ignore biology. If this information helped you understand your body better, use it as a starting point, not a replacement for medical care, but a reminder that health is built quietly, one habit at a time. And most importantly, stop believing that decline is inevitable. In many cases, it's optional.